For over 30 years, Cary Car Care has been the trusted, family-owned auto repair shop serving Cary and surrounding communities. With ASE certified technicians, we handle everything from routine maintenance to major repairs, always with honesty and transparency. Visit carycarcare.com or call 919-380-0040. Cary Car Care, service you can trust.
Rescue Wood Rehab in Fuquay-Varina is proud to be your local custom woodworking shop for furniture, home decor, and more. Visit us and maybe spend some time with our shop dog Amber. Rescue Wood Rehab is more than wood, it's an experience. rwrnc.com.
Hi there and welcome to What's Up Wake.
Spend your day is the only way to take a break with What's Up Wake. Ooh, What's Up Wake.
Presented by the publishers of Cary Magazine, Wake Living, and Main and Broad, What's Up Wake covers the people, places, restaurants, and events, essentially all the cool stuff and great news of Wake County. I'm your host, Melissa Wistahuff. Join me as we find out what's up Wake. Today's guest is here to spread some joy. I'm joined by Frank Yarborough, the man behind Frankie B's Pimento Cheese, whose recipe has been winning hearts, creating long lines, and is to blame for serious cravings. The timing for our talk couldn't be better. We're chatting just days before the Pimento Cheese Festival in Downtown Cary Park. So this kind of feels like interviewing a rock star right before the tour kicks off. That is, if the tour involved cheddar cheese and Southern pride. Today, we'll dig into how Frank turned a comfort food classic into a growing brand, what makes the perfect batch, and why Frankie B's keeps people coming back for one more bite. So grab a cracker, clear some fridge space, and get ready because this conversation is about to get deliciously cheesy. Welcome, Frank. I am here with the big cheese, Frankie B himself. I have to start with first, why pimento cheese and how you even got into the pimento cheese life to begin with.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I grew up with it. My mother made it for most of my life. And it was interesting because like in funerals and weddings, she'd do the little sandwich squares, which she'd cut the bread in quarters.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Cut the edges off of it. And people loved it.
The original Uncrustable.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And people would often say, this is the best pimento cheese I've ever had. You need to sell it, and I don't think I never even thought of, anything taking a pimento cheese to market or making it even. And probably a little over 5 years ago, my mother passed away in 2015. So then my sister, who lives in Georgia now, she started making it, and she'd come visit every now and then and make it for me. And I got tired of waiting for her, but I also got to a place where I wanted to learn how to make food. Got tired of eating out a lot. The food quality in the area, I just was like, man, I've eaten out a lot.
Yeah.
And so it was like something in me said, well, look, start making the pimento cheese. And so I asked my sister about the recipe. And the funny thing growing up is the ladies would always say, well, Frankie, try this and see if it needs a little more of this, a little more of that. And I'm like, why don't you just make it the same way every time, And that they don't do it that way.
That's hard to do that way, especially when you're not measuring things.
Yeah, and they didn't.
Our parents and grandparents never measured anything.
100%. And, and they were great cooks, great Southern cooks from this area. And that's the way they did it. And so I was like, I've got to make it the same way every time because I want the consistency and the quality. But again, never doing it to think that it would ever become a brand or anything like that. But when I started making it, I started giving it away to people and sharing it because I was so excited that I actually made food. And so I would give it away and people would go, man, this is awesome. And one thing led to another. And I was like, well, okay, I'll take the family recipe and, which was basically just kind of a regular non-spiced pimento cheese. So, well, I'll add a spice to it. And then it was, okay, well, I add a spicy bacon. And I kind of went through a couple of different iterations of spice, and I had different people say, I want more spice or less spice. And so at the end of the day, I said, well, I'm going to have 3 flavors for right now. Because if I'm going to go to market, I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I've got 3. People loved it. I kept getting great feedback. And lo and behold, I did the Pimento Cheese Festival 2023, 2024. I just sat in front of my house 2023 because the festival was right there on Academy Street.
Yeah.
And I did tastings because people would tell me, they'd say, this is the best pimento cheese I've ever had. And I was like, you're my friend, you're my neighbor, whatever it may be. I'm going to see general market responses to it. So I sat in front of my house all day, people coming up. And I didn't prepare a lot of cheese, but probably within about 3 hours or so, I fed over 350 people a bite out of my hand, right? And so 2024, I prepared a little better, made 20 pounds of cheese, sat in front of my house. The festival that year moved to the park because they opened up the park that year. And so from that point, set up in front of my house. I wasn't, official. I didn't have it certified, didn't have a commercial kitchen. I just did tastings again, free tastings. And all day, I had over probably 1,000, 1,100 people come to my house. Many were leaving the park where the festival was and coming up saying, hey, we were told you've got the best pimento cheese out here. And I just was like, I was blown away that it could be really get that kind of response and be that good to people. And so, I have a marketing guy, and tell me if I'm getting too long-winded on this, but my marketing guy for my technology company that I own for almost 28 years here in the area, I said, hey, you'd like pimento cheese? And he said, no. And so I said, well, I'm going to bring, and that's Steve McCullough, Winnow Creative. He sold that business, but they're still in operation. Great guy. And I said, well, I'm going to bring you some pimento cheese. I actually was by that time making my grandmother's chocolate meringue pies and lemon meringue pies. So I was starting to get into more of her recipes. Yeah. So
I would love to try those as well.
So I made him one for his birthday, but then I brought some cheese over. He said, this is awesome. And here's a guy that didn't like pimento cheese.
I think that pimento cheese kind of gets a bad rap. Like my husband says he does not like pimento cheese. And I'm like, yeah, but have you even tried it?
Yeah.
It looks a little funny, I guess. I mean, I've grown up eating it like you were saying, but I feel like the people that don't like it have never tried it.
I think there's some of that. I'm just to be honest with you, I haven't met a lot of pimento cheese out in the market in general that I really liked. It's a different texture than mine, but I've met a lot of people, and especially at the festivals and whatnot, who didn't like pimento cheese, but when they try mine, they go, hey, I like your pimento cheese.
Yeah.
So, and some people are funky with texture. So it's that too, but I agree with you. I think the same thing.
So what is different about your pimento cheese?
Yep. So I'm going to go back for just a second.
Okay.
So Steve, my marketing guy, he said, I'm going to help you take it to market. So he helped me create the brand.
Oh, okay.
So he created the logo.
You brought me some. You're my favorite type of guest. You brought some samples, and this is going to be my lunch today. But so he helped you come up with
He did.
With all the labels and everything.
He put my website together. He helped me come up with the brand. And he's like, you got to take this to market.
Very nice. He's a great type of friend to have.
Yeah. So again, going back to your question about the difference between mine, again, I tell people this is as traditional Southern as you're going to get. It was born and bred right here in this area by some beautiful ladies, and it's just simple pimento cheese. When you look out in the marketplace, there's a lot of pimento cheeses that people call it pimento cheese that's got 15 different flavors in it. It's got pimento in it, but it isn't like just classic pimento cheese from my perspective. And again, this goes back because I'm conditioned and biased because this is something I grew up with and it's a family recipe. But ours is more of a spread. A lot of pimento cheeses that you find in the marketplace are more grated or chunky. They're more liquidy or a mayonnaise-y. This is a nice consistency. People love the consistency. I call it more of a spread. And it's just great by itself or with multitudes and myriads of types of foods to make it with. But I love that. I love the creaminess of it without it being overly wet, if you will.
It is more of a dense, I did have a little taste before our episode started. It is more of a dense, like you said, spread versus like a chunkier one that you might get at the grocery store, mass market type of pimento cheese. One question that's coming to mind as you're talking, though, you started out just kind of making it for friends, and then last year was your first time at the Pimento Cheese Festival. You sold, this is what I read anyway, that you sold a whopping 1,500 containers of pimento cheese at the festival last year, and you're planning to make 2,000 this year?
Yeah, so correction there. We were probably having a conversation. So last year we sold over 600 containers.
Okay.
I made over 900. I made somewhere in the 900
That's still a
plus.
Remarkable amount of containers of pimento cheese.
Look, Melissa, it was amazing. We set up a booth at my house because that's what people were used to coming to my house. So we set up a booth there. We had the booth in the festival for the first time. And the house sold out in 2 hours. I sold out an hour and a half early. And I'm telling you, this year I'm working towards having, and that's where the number 1,500 came from.
Oh, okay,
I'm working
gotcha.
towards 1,500 to 2,000 containers this year, and I have no doubt that we're going to move a lot of cheese. I mean, we had so much energy, but you think about, you had 17,000 to 20,000 people in downtown Cary. So it doesn't take a lot of a small percentage of that crowd to come get your cheese to sell a lot of it. But, by the end of the festival, I mean, people were clamoring for it. I remember towards the end, matter of fact, we had cleared away the crowd that was in front of our booth, which we had so much energy and excitement there the whole day. And I looked over and I'm looking at this cooler and I go, what's in that cooler? And we open it up and it's full of cheese. Somebody had been sitting on it. We didn't think about it. We thought we'd cleared all the coolers out. Yeah.
You had more than you realized.
Yeah. So, so next thing I know, we're pulling cheese out, putting it on the table. We had almost taken down the booth by that time. And we just yelled out to people, hey, we got more cheese. And people were just coming out of other lines.
That's a very good problem to have.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So I expect a great turnout this year. But, for me, I love it. Matter of fact, my motto for the years that I've been kind of going through sharing it with people has been loving people through pimento cheese. And I love that. And I love the fact that it's got the heritage. It comes from, special people in my life. So, however much we sell, to me, it isn't about that. It's about, people tell me they love it. People say it's the best pimento cheese they've ever had. I just want to have fun with it, and it has become a family thing. Matter of fact, I probably had 15 people between family members, other people that are associated with the Miracle League with me, and friends that knew me just show up at my house last year. And I'll tell you, I'd had no idea what to expect last year because I'd never done it before. I'd never even been to one of the booths where they were doing it. I needed every person that showed up to be able to manage the 2 booths, the inventory, going back and forth to the house, getting things that we needed to be able to do tastings and sell the product. And so now, this year I've got family members coming in from different parts of the country. I've got friends coming over, and it's become a big party around my house and around downtown Cary for us to bring Frankie B's to the market.
So, how do you like your urgent care? At Wake Med, we have urgent care just about everywhere. Urgent care that specializes in orthopedics and kids. My Care 365, open every day of the year. Even virtual urgent care. Yup, urgent care in your jammies on your tablet. So download the Wake Med All Access app and get urgent care that's caring, convenient, and just the way you like it.
Spring is in the air, and there's no better way to celebrate than at Cary's Spring Days Arts and Crafts Festival. Join us Saturday, April 25th from 9 to 5 at beautiful Bond Park for a full day of art, music, food, and family fun. Explore one-of-a-kind creations from over 170 North Carolina artists. Enjoy live performances, grab delicious bites from local vendors, and take part in hands-on activities for all ages. Whether you're shopping, relaxing by the lake, or just soaking in the springtime vibes, Spring Days is all about community, creativity, and new beginnings. Bring your friends, bring your family, and don't miss Spring Days 2026.
Welcome to Podcast Cary, professional podcast studios with more than 50 shows making podcasting simple and fun. It starts right on our website. Pick a time that fits your schedule, tell us what you're working on, and we'll take care of the rest. You focus on the conversation. We handle everything else. Because starting a podcast should be fun, not complicated. Come see how easy it can be at podcastcary.com.
Mark your calendars. The Apex Love Local Showcase returns on Sunday, April 26th from 11 to 4 in downtown Apex. Spend the day discovering the best local businesses, all in one convenient location. Enjoy samples, take advantage of exclusive promotions, and discover your new favorite spot. Sip, shop, stroll. How will you choose to love local? Visit apexnc.org/showcase for all the details.
Let's talk logistics.
Okay.
Because going from selling, smaller batches to large amounts,
Yeah.
did you have to move out of your home kitchen to a bigger space to
No,
cook?
I never did a home kitchen stuff. The only thing,
okay.
yeah, no, never, because you can't do that. to be an official product, bring to market.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it has to be certified. You got to have an inspected kitchen and all that kind of stuff. You got to have insurance. So I never sold a container of it until I had everything lined up with all my ingredients certified. I had the kitchen inspected. I have insurance. So one day there's a commercial kitchen in downtown Cary across the street from my grandmother's old house where this came from. And I knew it was there, and I went and knocked on the door one day and just asked the guy, I said, when you're not using it, would you sub-rent it to me? And he said, yes. And so that's where I make my kitchen. It's all been inspected and everything's official. So that was when I brought it to market last year and came to the festival because I had everything that I needed and we were ready to go.
And for anybody that's listening who has not been to the Pimento Cheese Festival, it's a big deal. This is, like you said, thousands and thousands of people come every year. It's such a random sounding theme.
Right.
But it's really fun. I highly encourage everybody to come. It's not all pimento cheese. You don't have to eat pimento cheese. So if you don't like it, but I do definitely encourage you to at least try it. I'm speaking to my husband right now. At least try it once.
Yeah.
Then you can say you don't like it for
Let him try Frankie B's and see, start him out with the top
I'm going to be bringing this one home today, so I'm going to force him. I'm going to force feed him.
Well, we are the only town in the country, because we've done Google searches on it. We're the only town in the country that has a Pimento Cheese Festival. Yeah,
this is
it.
The one and only. Yeah. Yes, and it makes it unique and really fun too.
Well, what I'd like to see happen, I know you got another question there, and forgive me for interrupting, is I would like to see the identity of pimento cheese to move from South Carolina to North Carolina and to be in Cary, actually, right? With the Frankie B's brand.
So is that pimento cheese is known for South Carolina?
Well, Pawleys Island, you've got a brand there. I won't mention the name. They're mass distributed, Costco and everywhere else.
Okay.
And a lot of people, it's like they kind of equate the pimento cheese from the mass distribution side of things with that brand. And I'm like, man, we need to get, Cary needs to become identified as the pimento cheese capital of the South.
Yeah, we need to work on that, Cary. Come on, guys.
Yep.
Okay, you've mentioned that you live in downtown Cary. You're right on Academy Street. And I can imagine that your life has changed significantly in recent years with the new park opening, with all the changes that have come to downtown Cary. Right. Tell me about life now that the park has opened. Is it just, has it truly changed as much as I imagine?
In a lot of ways it has. Especially, they started the Streetscape project probably maybe 5 to 8 years ago. And the park was part of that, but the park was the latter part of it. The whole construction and apartments and the condos and houses that have been developed down there. Mm-hmm. It's become, to me, it's a small city. It's gone from a small town to a big town to now we've got a small city. Mm-hmm. The park, to me, really defined downtown Cary as a small city. Because you would expect a park like that to be in a more of a larger city environment. It's a beautiful park, but it's really fantastic because I think we've got the whole world coming to downtown Cary. It represents the world. It represents our country in terms of the melting pot, if you will. I love it because, again, when I'm ready and as I venture outside my house, there's a lot of people that I can expose to pimento cheese, right? So I've got a sign on my fence downtown, and my son, Jack, who I was telling you about with Down syndrome, he is a great salesman of Frankie B's. Mm-hmm. And, when we're out in the yard doing yard work or just hanging out, we're looking for people who are if you look at our sign long enough, we're engaging with you. And we're going to come do a tasting, and you might walk away with some containers of cheese. So I love that. The biggest thing for me, Melissa, that we did that transformed our living experience was when they did the streetscape and built the hotel and all of that, I didn't have a fence in front of my house. And I was like, we got to create a separation, because when the town would have events downtown, people would use my yard. I mean, people would sit up on my porch and, drink and eat and have fun in my yard. I don't even know
why I'm acting like I'm surprised about that.
Yeah, I mean, but people treat it like a public space,
Yeah.
But once I put the fence up, which we completed that project the first of 2020,
the fence and the sprinklers and
and the guard dog,
the guard dog,
I mean, it just to me, when I get inside my house and even when I'm in my yard, I don't feel like I'm in this busy downtown area. I feel like we've got privacy. I love the separation, but we love being down there. We love the amenities, the restaurants, being able to walk to different things. The park's really fantastic. So we really love it. But my family's been there since 1895. The house that I live in, my granddad built in 1937. So with the family heritage, we just love it, being a part of the town.
And I love that you have stayed. You know, a lot of people, I think, well, not a lot, I don't know, I'm just kind of saying that, but would maybe not like the change and move to find, solitude somewhere else.
Right. I'm sure a lot of people have done that.
I'm glad that you have stayed to lead, still be a part of the history that's down there.
And I think one of the things that I'm encouraged about is everything that they're doing down there is really good quality, right? It's nice. It's really well done.
Very good point. Yes.
Yeah. So you love the vibe of it, but we love it. And again, we were there, like I moved back from Atlanta in 1985 into my granddad's old home that he built. And, it was a sleepy, slow town and we loved it then.
Yeah.
So, I've never had a negative view of any of what's going on down there. Other than especially you get around Christmas time, December time, you get some traffic, not just cars, but foot traffic. It's crazy trying to just get out of my street and get back and forth to my house.
And a day like the Pimento Cheese Festival, you might as well park your car and not go anywhere. Yeah, but you're going to be there anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, then the good thing is I can wheel my wagon down from my house to the festival,
that's true.
Right?
Yeah, so you don't have to find parking.
I don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah. That is also a good point. Okay, so you're used to being judged. Let's turn the tables.
Okay.
If you are judging the pimento cheese competition, what are you looking for?
I think the traditional pimento cheese, right?
You don't want to try the different.
I would. I have no problem with that. I am a quality snob, first of all, and I have a certain palate. I'm a meat and potatoes guy. Some people tell me that I ought to write articles about food and express my opinion on it because I've got a great opinion. But you could say I'm a medium fare to low fare because I love hot dogs, hamburgers, pizzas. I like simple foods, but I'm meat and potatoes. So I don't know how much people want to hear about that, but for me, it's the simplicity of it with great flavor. I just love great flavor in food, but I've got a certain palate, right? So some people would maybe enjoy one brand versus the other for whatever reason, but I think it'd be the simplicity of really a traditional pimento cheese first, and then beyond that, okay, let's spice it up, let's flavor it up, let's see how creative we can get with it. But if I'm gonna judge a pimento cheese festival, I'm looking for real good, Southern traditional pimento cheese, however you define that.
Yeah. I also read that you use Duke's mayonnaise, and I feel like that is also a must because this Duke's or nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, don't bring me the other stuff.
Matter of fact, I have a plastic yellow Duke's mayonnaise cup at my house that I drink out of on a frequent basis. That's my favorite cup.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's meaningful because it represents my family and the people that I love that aren't here anymore. And they were very special because these ladies were the nucleus and the core of our family as I grew up. And so those things they're special to me from that perspective.
Yeah, you're carrying on their legacy for sure.
100%.
And I'm sure you think about them often too when you're making the pimento cheese. Yeah,
I do. And forgive me, but I often tell people I think I'm doing better than they did.
Oh.
I think mine's better. Even like with my chocolate meringue pies, I make a killer chocolate meringue pie.
That's the one. That's what I want next.
Yeah,
Frankie.
with my grandmother's recipe. Now it's her recipe, but people have often said, meringue's hard to do. From day one, I've made a beautiful meringue. I'll show you some pictures when we get wrapped up of some of my pies. I want
pictures and I want the real thing.
Okay.
Please and thank you.
You got it, yeah.
Okay, so you brought us some pimento cheese today.
Yep.
You brought it with pretzels, little pretzels. I'm wondering, and you can think of any creative way under the sun to add pimento cheese to anything. I love it on cheeseburgers.
Yep.
But really, I love it just with regular old bread.
Yeah, just standard white bread.
What is your favorite pairing with pimento cheese?
Yeah, that's a great question. I grew up with you'd oftentimes go to functions, they may have it on celery, right? But the real traditional way that my mother would make it's on just regular white bread. She loved Sunbeam. I happen to go towards Wonder Bread, but either one of them. But a lot of times my simplicity is I'll take just one piece of bread, put pimento cheese on half, fold it over. And I don't,
gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
I just love the simplicity of taking a half. I might make 6 of those and eat them for dinner, but they're going to be one piece of bread folded over. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you,
I will say it
Yeah.
does taste different if you slice it vertically
Yeah.
or
It does.
diagonally.
Isn't
I
that
can't
crazy?
explain it.
Isn't it crazy?
But it is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I haven't tried to fold it though. I'm going to have to try it because it will taste different.
Yeah. It's funny because another way that we always loved making it growing up is we would take the bread and put it in the oven on broil and do open face and let the cheese melt. And then, you toast the bread a little bit, put the cheese on it, then let the cheese melt. And it's just a yummy mess,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
One thing that I've been doing also recently is I'll take the bread, toast it, put mayonnaise and some organic, like just standard turkey sandwich meat on there, and put pimento cheese on the other piece, and I'll put them back in the oven on broil and let the cheese get melted, kind of dries out the turkey a little bit, put them together. It's been delicious.
Wow, that does sound very good.
I'm going to give a plug to La Farm because another way that a lot of people I've turned on to it really love it is I'll take their sourdough bread. So really anybody's sourdough, but I like their sourdough.
You're right around the corner from La Farm, so you got to use that. Yeah,
That's right. So and you put butter on it, get a griddle, put the cheese in the middle, make a grilled cheese sandwich out of it. It is fantastic. But again, I've eaten it. My spicy bacon with a filet mignon is money. My wife.
Hey, that actually sounds
I'm just telling you,
amazing.
hot dog. I haven't in a while, but I used to go down here and did a city barbecue, and I get their sausage and cut it up in little slices. And literally for dinner, I just take a little scoop of the pimento cheese with my fork, poke the sausage, and that would be my dinner. So hot dogs, hamburgers, best cheeseburger you ever had. But I've got people that eat it with eggs and, on different breads and crackers and stuff. But it's really just, I tell people, anything that you would use a sour cream with, chilies, soups, you name it.
Oh, I never thought about chili.
Oh yeah, you put that on there. It's fantastic.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you've given me a lot of great ideas, and now I'm starving.
Yeah.
So thank you. Okay, let's say you have to stop making pimento cheese today.
Yep.
I might already know the answer to this based on what you already said. You have to stop making pimento cheese, but you're going to start making another recipe. What are you going to turn your focus to?
Yeah, if I were going to do that, I'd go to the baked goods.
I'm going to say the chocolate meringue pie.
Oh, yeah, the chocolate lemon meringue pies. There's some, again, traditional Southern things that I call them Southern because it's what I grew up with. My grandmother was a miracle worker. She could go to church on Sunday morning and have a feast ready by the time we all got there at lunchtime with multitudes of desserts. Her pound cakes, her pies, her cakes, everything was just so delicious. So boiled custard, you don't see boiled custard around like that. That was kind of the forerunner to the good berries, custards, and stuff like that. But I would take her recipes and start making those and share it with people. And then my oldest sister is getting ready to move from Georgia after being there since 1970 because we moved there in 1970. She's moving back, and she loves what I'm doing with all this. And she wants to bake with me, right? And she's really, really fantastic. So I think the two of us would probably put together something and have. I'll tell you this, if you don't mind me adding this to it. I've bought the URL for two names right now. One is Southern Treatery, and the other is the Frankie B Southern Treatery. That's based on the possibility that I would migrate inevitably into a format where I would create just yummy Southern, traditional Southern themed foods for people.
Well, I offer myself as your taste tester. Anytime,
Okay.
I will dive on
got
that
a deal.
sword for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was actually my next question. What's next for Frankie B? So you really are thinking about maybe expanding?
Yeah, I think it'll be a while, Melissa, because again, I'm early out the gate with this. I'm getting some traction. Again, thank you for having me here and giving me this opportunity. The New York Butcher Shop here in Cary just started stocking it. We had a wonderful launch event there where amazing amounts of people showed up to support us. The new Vino and Tap, Downtown Cary will have it. Pastrami Tom's is carrying it. They feature it on a burger there. And
I've been wanting to go there. I've heard,
it's really
I've heard
good.
They make things about them. Yeah,
they make a great Philly cheesesteak, but their burgers, everything there is really fantastic. And then the Dram and Draft over at Fenton also serves it with their foods or their drinks and stuff. So I think, I think right now is determining where do we go next? What's the next place? What's the best next thing to do? I've got some amazing people working with me that are brilliant minds in business and strategy and, logistics. And so, we're thinking about, if we want to take it further and really grow this as a brand, how to do it well, how to do it wisely. My older two sons live in Texas. One's Fort Worth, one's Austin. And we just got back from there, and people there were just clamoring for it because they've had it. And they're like, man, you got to bring Frankie B's here. I'm like, well, we got to get a good market development in Cary before I, get out to Texas.
Yeah, because I do hear that sometimes you grow too fast.
Oh yeah. I'm not interested in that. I just semi-retired, if you will, from a company that I built for almost 28 years, Avcon Incorporated, AV Systems Integration Company here in the area, and been down that path. And I'm in a time of my life where I can, step back a little bit. I don't have to drive it hard every day and really enjoy it. And that's what I'm trying to learn to do, because I come from a driving, mentality, and that's my spirit, right? To get out and just drive the market and create opportunities. And now I'm stepping back and saying, how do I do this? And still, it's got to have the love in it, right? I tell people the secret ingredient with Frankie B's is the love. And I really believe that. And I think that really it comes from the spirit of the ladies before me, my mom, my grandma, my great-grandma. They're beautiful lovers of us. And so I think it's, taking a step at a time, working with smart-minded people to come up with a good business strategy, that if there's a way to build this as a core brand in Cary, even just here, where it's the premier brand, if you will, for just Cary, fine. If we get beyond that, fine too. We'll take it a day at a time.
Okay, so everyone, to find out more about Frankie B's Pimento Cheese, read our April issue of Cary Magazine. David McCreary, which is our fantastic food writer, came and interviewed you for this story for the April issue. Where can everyone find out more about your pimento cheese? And do we just show up at your house and ring the doorbell to come by?
You really can. You really can. I mean, I've got a sign out there. People can stop by, and people do.
Just avoid the sprinklers and the barking dog.
The barking dog, yeah. Yeah, thank you. And but they can go to frankiebsplease.com, and that's Frankie with an IE, bsplease.com. And check us out there. They can go to the New York Butcher Shop and purchase it today. They can order it online. I do deliver. I've shipped as far as California and to Texas and Michigan and Minneapolis and Atlanta and all around. We do ship it within the continental United States, and it's fantastic. But they can come by my house and stop and knock on the door, ring the doorbell. They can text me, call me. They can order online, like I said, and come pick it up, or I can deliver it. Or they can go to one of these other establishments that I mentioned and enjoy it there.
Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you again for bringing us some samples. I'm going to fight Joe, my producer, over this pimento cheese. We're going to go to blows, Joe. Okay. Thank you, Frank.
Well, before you give him a black eye, I'll be glad to bring more. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we won't go to blows. Okay. Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for listening to What's Up Wake with Melissa Wistahuff, presented by the publishers of Cary Magazine, Wake Living, and Main and Broad. Follow them on social media at Cary Magazine NC, at MB Magazine NC, and at Wake Living Magazine. Visit each magazine's website at carymagazine.com, mainandbroadmag.com, and wakeliving.com to check out the latest digital edition of each magazine and find pickup locations. Be sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review to help others find us. Music provided by Angie Bagley and Chris Bagley. This show is produced by Podcast Cary.